Feel the fear. Experience the evil. Tongue pop with trepidation. You're listening to Terror from the Closet.
Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Harrison.
And I'm Toby.
And today we're going to be discussing Alien Romulus.
Alien Romulus. While scavenging the deep ends of a derelict space station, a group of young space colonists come face to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe.
Alrighty. So, Alien Romulus. I believe that we wanted to get into our history of Alien.
Yeah, I wanted to know a little bit about your history of the franchise. Are you a fan at all? And then maybe what your favorite one might be?
Okay, well, yes, I am a huge fan of the series, no matter how kooky it got, having just rewatched the entire series with my roommates from Alien. We watched Aliens first, a long time ago. And I think it's just because the 4K came out. And then, but then, Alien's so well known that my roommate just kind of knew already what happened. And then in preparation for this, we went back and watched Alien. And then we went into Alien 3, then Alien Resurrection. So he got the full brunt of just the whole Alien film franchise. And I told you before we were filming, but I totally fucked up and showed my roommate the director's cut, or not a director's cut, a special edition of Alien 3, which upon finishing it, I realized I've never seen it. So I'm
surprised you hadn't seen it yet.
No, I knew the big difference was that it came from the alien sprung from a dog versus an ox in the special edition. But what really caught me by surprise was all the inclusion of the Doctor Who character Paul McGann being obsessed with the xenomorph and just a lot of more character building. I really, really cared for I forget his name already, but he was in Game of Thrones, the love interest.
Yes. Oh, Charles Dance?
Charles Dance.
Yes.
Because first of all, I was like, wow, that's Charles Dance. And
in
then,
an Alien movie.
I've seen the movie so many times and didn't even realize that's Charles Dance. But I felt way more for him in Alien 3. and even my roommate felt like a piece of shit because he was like, oh, I really wanted him to survive. He was such a good character. But I think in the theatrical, he was just alien fodder, wasn't he?
I mean, he was there and he was gone. They had the one good conversation. I think they sleep together, right? Or it's implied, maybe.
In the director's cut, they do sleep with each other. Yeah.
Yeah, he's there for a couple scenes, and then he gets taken out real fast.
Yeah. That's always my favorite thing with alternative cuts is especially when you can tell that this was a David Fincher movie visually, but not any other way, with the edits, because we all know that's probably a whole episode in of itself of being slaughtered by the studio and being edited without David Fincher. But I speak as if Alien 3 is my favorite. It is probably the most interesting and fascinating because it is a sequel that isn't lazy. It isn't when you want to pump out an Alien 3 movie. There's actually some deep philosophical things happening.
It's not a badly made movie.
No, not by a long shot. And Alien Resurrection is just good fun. I don't care. It's a good. What do they always say? That Alien's the horror, Aliens is the action. Alien 3 is the drama. Alien Resurrection's the comedy.
It really is. Resurrection. I've always liked Resurrection. I watched it not too long ago, and I was like, oh, okay. But I think just because 3 was... I hated 3 for the longest time. It took until I got older and was more mature to really appreciate what they were trying to do with that movie. It's still not my favorite, but...
Do you think that your religious upbringing may have affected that?
Honestly, I never thought about that.
Oh.
That's why I hated it. This movie sucks. No, I think why I hated it was back then I was such a fan of the Newt character or Newt and Hicks. And I think I couldn't get over that.
Killed off screen.
I wasn't emotionally mature enough to accept that that's life sometimes. And so now that life is just anything could happen at any moment, it's well, yeah, they died. Of course they died. I'm surprised they didn't die sooner.
Yeah. Well, did you read the book? With the original
I read
screenplay?
the original script. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I read the book.
Screenplay, yeah, sorry, the book.
And then it just reversed where now and Ripley doesn't die, but she gets
She's not
sent
in it.
off planet. Like she's still like unconscious, and it's all focused on Hicks, which was fine. But you know, Sigourney Weaver is very much has to be like a part of an Alien movie.
Yeah.
But before we get on to your history with it, because I know it's extensive.
Oh yeah. I won't take too.
Alien Resurrection. Okay, I remember loving the scene where they pop out of the water and all those eggs are there, and you know I especially love the scene with loved past tense of Ron Perlman, you know, going backwards and shooting the alien. Okay, Christy, I know I haven't gotten acid spit in my face. Maybe it severely weakened someone, but just shake the xenomorph
Yeah,
off.
why didn't I? That is a problem with me too. It's like, why didn't you? Because, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the way it's filmed. I don't know, but like I remember thinking that too. It was like, it doesn't seem like it's really getting. It's not even really trying. Like I feel
I mean, yeah, it sucks for the French guy in the
baby.
wheelchair, but like,
I don't know why he had to die, and also he just fell into the water. Like we didn't. If maybe we saw blood bubbling up or something, but he just fell into the water, and we're just like, okay, he's dead. So did fucking Call. I mean, yeah, she's a robot, but like she fell in, and then like
she popped up.
popped up.
Clearly, there's a passageway somewhere.
I have a big problem with that movie, where I feel like they kill the most interesting characters first. Like the cat, I liked maybe because I like the actor, but like the captain of the
Michael Wincott.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why would you kill him? Like so soon. I wanted to see him come up against Ripley, or have like more of a battle of like the wills again over like Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron
Like, you
Perlman
leave
was
the
fun.
girlfriend alive longer.
Yeah, I think I like Michael Wincott because of just. Well, I first realized that. Oh, wait a minute! I forgot he's in this movie, and oh my God, that's the villain from The Crow.
The Crow.
And
I feel like everyone knows is The Crow.
And that's like, oh, that's the IMAX camera guy from Nope.
Amazing. He was amazing in Nope. I was so happy.
I just love his voice, Mr. Purple Peter. I can't even do it
So
right,
attractive.
but
I find him so attractive. But that's Alien Resurrection. I do like that movie. Okay, really quick, back to the Alien 3 that cut really fast. What do you think about? I think it's the theatrical. Ripley falls into the lava with no chest burster, and then in the producer's cut or production, whatever the name of that cut, you see it actually come out of her chest before she hits the lava.
Oh, you do?
Pretty sure it bursts out. So I think, is it the theatrical that it
well,
pops out of her chest?
The theatrical is where it pops out.
Okay.
The special edition is where she just says, "You're crazy," and then just falls into the pit. Yeah.
I preferred her falling in without it coming out of her chest.
I think I preferred it with it coming out.
Really? I mean, I see it like, okay, the pain and like seeing the creature, but for me, I was like, why couldn't we have spared? She's already going to some lava. Why does she have to get a chest burster on the way down? Like
I think visually for me it was like, okay, she's dying and she's taking this queen with.
It was
because
very,
it's a queen,
I'm
right?
Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it was just there goes all her hopes of
It looked
winning.
cool. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I was like, well, there goes all her hope of winning an Academy Award because she looks like a little Oscar falling into the lava.
That would have been a funny like Oscar
And the winner for
show or something. Would they play in the background? All right. Well, yeah. I kind of already talked about like with you right now. I have been a huge fan of this franchise for a really long time. I got that quadrilogy DVD. Remember? So I got that. I was not allowed to watch. I mean, anyone who's listened to our past stuff would know. Like, I was not allowed to watch a lot of stuff growing up. But for some reason, Alien like slipped through the cracks, and I got that DVD set, and I was obsessed. So I saw that Alien 3 like different cut like almost immediately after I watched the original cut, like way back in the day.
Oh, was that your first exposure to Alien 3?
No, I watched the original one on VHS.
Oh.
But then I got that quadrilogy not too long after I had gotten into the movies, and so it had all that stuff in it. Like I said, I came to it way late, so there was all this like special editions, all these things out by the time that I started to watch the movies. and that work print cut was on the quadrilogy. So that's been in my mind for a long time. And actually, when I go back to watch the third one, I usually watch that one. I can kind of forgive the others, the like uncut stuff.
Yeah, I need to rewatch theatrical.
It's really not my favorite. I mean, I can appreciate it more, but I think that other cut fills in a lot of gaps that I think would have makes the story a bit more interesting.
More for professional curiosity.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it, but I'm like, now that this work print edition is like so ingrained in my head, now I need to see the difference.
You really need to watch the Scream 3 work print.
And I still have that.
I absolutely, I mean, that's a whole different podcast, but I loved that. It was so interesting seeing a movie that I have it memorized. Like, I know that movie in and out. To see like another version of it was almost like watching it for the first time again. It was so cool. But yeah, so back to Alien. My favorite one though is this is gonna like really probably piss some people off. The one that I go back to the most, I think that my favorite one is Prometheus.
Oh, we're including those.
Okay. Oh, yes. The only ones I don't include, and we can because I've noticed everyone online right now is including the AVP movies. I thought they were not canon. I never included them as canon. Whenever I talk about the Alien franchise, I never include those movies. Like I forget that they're there. But we can if you want.
I'm not gonna. It's not one of my favorites.
I don't
AVP.
care for them, but I am counting. Especially, I'm counting Prometheus and Covenant because Romulus has so much connection to those movies for some reason.
Yeah, shocking. It surprised me.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I was like, oh hey.
Like the black goo is the last thing I expected for it to pop up in Alien Romulus.
You got the theme song playing as
that
a
was so
callback,
cute.
and I was like, my heart went pitter patter because I love that soundtrack. Shaw. Yeah. What's your favorite? Do you have a
What
favorite?
is it with characters getting killed off screen? Like, fuck.
That is one for me that's just like I'll never forget.
Yeah. More than Newt?
A lot more than Newt.
Okay.
I really liked Shaw. I don't know why. Some characters I hyperfixate on or something. Shaw was one of them. Like,
She was off on a big grand adventure. Like, nope, got slaughtered by a robot.
Who also has a religious background.
Well, David.
I'm just realizing, like, I didn't really like, or Shaw.
There was a lot of religious.
Well, that one, the whole movie was about, like, is God the devil?
Yes.
Maybe. But yeah, so so for me, yeah, Prometheus is my favorite, but I think Alien is the best made movie. So before people freak out, like I think Alien is the best one. I just find myself coming back to Prometheus and I think Aliens more. When I do rewatches, it's either Prometheus, Covenant, but I always like Aliens too. I think it's just such a fun movie, just a really exciting, really great story. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, I think I'm going to be the obvious guy and just be like Aliens is the one that I can rewatch. It's sort of, for me, like No Country for Old Men, and the fact that, I'll put this on in the background while I clean.
So
and then I
funny
just sit down and then watch the whole thing.
Movie.
Yeah. So
it is very, like, not mumblecore, but that movie is very, like, has a chill, I mean, horrible things are happening on screen, but, like, a very chill vibe. They're out in the country, I think.
No Country
for Old Men. Yeah, sorry, that one.
Okay, I guess.
This isn't a chill. Romulus is not a chill movie. Or Aliens.
No, Aliens is probably my favorite.
Now, theatrical or directors?
Directors.
Good.
Director's
answer.
cut because, I
Some
think
people don't like it.
that is shocking.
They don't like the extra stuff. I heard someone had an argument that they thought it was dumb to see the colony active before we get there, and I'm just like, no. I mean, for me, I mean, you didn't have. It's so shocking to me that I forget that they didn't have the family discovering the ship or anything like that, and I feel like that stuff really connects those movies.
Yeah, whoever said that is a little bitch.
Yeah, those are people who don't. I mean, and this is like what kettle calling the whatever. Because I don't know why some movies have to be 2+ hours long, but like a lot of the arguments I've heard is just it makes the movie too long and like it takes away from the action. But if I'm invested in a movie, I want to see as much of those characters and like I like the world building.
Yeah, because that scene does a lot for the film. First, it shows you before Hadley's Hope goes to shit. And then it also shows you Newt just as a normal girl. So then, like, the next scene we see her, she's just
all
like this
fucked up.
wild child.
Yeah.
Like, what happened to this girl?
It gives more of a like connection between the first movie and the second one. It's like just more of a connector with seeing like the derelict.
Oh, yeah.
And also you lose the whole, which is like it's so weird to me. You lose the whole mother-daughter because you
lose the
don't know
heart.
that she had a daughter. You lose that whole scene of her finding out her daughter's dead. So like I feel like that, and that I mean you get the relationship in the theatrical cut, but I feel like that added so much, and
yeah.
it makes the death in the third one even worse.
So yeah, no, that whole scene with it, like it. I know I disagree with whoever said that because I mean we could list them all day, but like it not that it needed it, but it's just a little add-on that made it feel that much more sweeter. So when she says "Get away from her, you bitch," I felt that.
Which I did not feel
In Romulus.
Romulus.
Which we'll get
So
to
let's
because I
get
got
into
some
it.
shit.
I
Should
got.
we just start with that, or
I think I'd rather start with maybe things we liked. And
Okay.
Then because there, I mean, I'll spoiler. I liked this movie. Like I really enjoyed it. I had to see it twice to really make up my mind. And I think on continuous, I think as time goes on, it'll really find its place. And some of the stuff that I think are a little glaring right now will ease out. But I do kind of want to start with like sort of. There's a lot to love, and I don't want to be a hater right off the bat. But what did you think about the? It takes place between Alien and Aliens. So what did you think about seeing the wreckage of the Nostromo?
I was the little
Did
nerd.
you think that was that at first?
Yes. Well, I was a little nerd because I was really excited. I don't think my roommate noticed that it was because he just watched it straight out, like literally almost 2-3 days before we watched Romulus.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if he knew that, oh, that's the Nostromo. That's the first ship, or parts of the first ship. No, I was like, oh my God, look. It's
The
first
second the
ship.
light came on, I was like, oh my God, I know what that is. There's no reason for there to be a wreckage in the movie.
Yeah, because that thing got vaporized. Like 3 explosions.
Yeah, that too. Or I mean, like I knew that it was going to be the wreckage once we saw it, but I was also thinking, like, didn't it get like vaporized? Like it didn't really. I mean, it looked pretty strong. That explosion was pretty crazy.
I hate to bring in Rise of Skywalker, but like that thing definitely got vaporized,
Well,
yet there's, you know what?
Well, it's a movie. I'll bring up something I saw really, really quick that I like recently that people have forgot. They were doing a Q&A about Longlegs, and I haven't seen it yet. But Oz Perkins, the director, was answering questions on Reddit, and someone asked a question, and I don't think it's a spoiler. I don't even remember what it was, but it was basically like, why did this person not think of this beforehand? And Oz Perkins just said, because it's a movie. And I just feel like, yeah, because it's a fucking movie. Like not everything has to. I'm going into movies now with also keeping that in mind. It's just like sometimes a movie has to movie.
That reminds me of my favorite quote from all of the appendices of Lord of the Rings with Bob Anderson, the sword master. It's like that guy says like, Bob, that wouldn't really happen in real life. He's like, oh, my boy, that's the movies, So
it's
like,
not real.
Yeah.
I'm starting to I think realism's kind of killed storytelling.
Especially like, come on, it's an alien movie.
It's an alien
settle
movie.
down.
The problems I'll say that I have for this movie have nothing to do with the realism of what happens. Okay, but how do you feel about the anyways, like them finding the xenomorph, which I guess has encased itself in its own resin?
First of all, very strong opening. I was getting really heavy vibes of that Godzilla trailer music with
Yes.
and I was like, okay, all right, I'm buying this because it sets itself up to be taken seriously.
Yeah.
And it's really funny because it seems like if this were going to be a lazy sequel, it would probably be about that alien wrecking havoc on whatever ship that was.
It probably would have just been like what happened to. I mean, I would like to know maybe an EU book, like of what happened on the station before, like why it was abandoned or like when the ship went down. We saw some of it on the monitors for a second,
Yeah.
but it would be kind of cool, I guess, to see that. But um, I agree. I agree with you on that. I thought it was also cool immediately setting up the company, like these faceless men in the hazmat suits, just like coldly watching the laser go around. I thought was really cool. Um, and immediately I was in the universe. Like immediately it did feel like aliens. Like it just like they captured that right away. And then going from that to the colony. I think this is the first. Is this the first time we've gotten like a lot of world building outside of like Vickers? You know, like the high end corporate people. Like I feel like this is the first time we've seen like a working colony. Yeah, there was the colony on the in Aliens, but like seeing, I guess what people are like what the colony actually means. Like when you hear like in the movies, you're like, oh yeah, the colony. In my mind, this whole time, it's like, okay, it's these settlers who are starting a new life. Sure, it's hard, but like they're working for freedom. And here, it's like these people are indentured servants. Like these people are
Yeah.
slaves. And when she gets her Kaylee Spaney, who I'm just kind of discovering, who plays Rain, when she gets her time extended, I was like livid for her because it felt so real.
And you see the great thing about that whole scene, not only for the world building, not even for the practicality of it, but also now we actually have a legitimate reason for these people endangering themselves.
The desperation. I would go like, yeah, 100% to get off of the never seeing the sun. Like you're living on a planet you never. Was that the first time she supposedly saw the sun? Was when they?
It sounds
They
like
break
it.
the-
Well, no, because the memory thing was
It was just in her head.
just in her head.
Yeah. And just seeing like, I mean, it was cool. Obviously, seeing the big terraforming machine. They have like the bar sign there. I don't know if you noticed that. That like, there's a bar sign at Hadley's Hope, and it's like the same sign there.
Really?
Yeah. I don't
See,
know,
I feel that's something that you would know.
it was cool. Yeah, I did see all that stuff. I was like, oh my god, that's cool. A lot of little nerdy, definitely production design stuff. There's a lot of stuff, especially when we get to the station.
That was the little chicken thing that.
Yeah, that was there in the.
That for me was like
in there.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was like dead center frame. I liked all the little gadgets. I liked her little watch. Have we seen? I don't know if we've seen that. We've seen super high tech, like an Alien, but it was cool seeing more of the working low tech kind of stuff that they had going.
Well, you see now, I think the reviews I've seen of this movie have actually mentioned that as a negative. I'm looking at it as a positive because it was really nice to get that continuity, to that the technology remained the same. That it was like ancient new, where it was all like not 8-bit, but low res and just
it's like the
sound effects.
You can have a used Jeep today, or you can have a piece of shit, I don't know, cyber truck. Like that looks like a spaceship. So I could totally see, there's the rich corporate technology that's high end, and then you got the hand-me-downs.
Like in Prometheus, because I was like, I don't know how we went from that to like
and
down.
that's what people's problem is like the prequels, like in Star Wars. It's like, where did we go from this shiny stuff to like piece of shit junkyards? I always thought it was like, well, we've been following the working people, like the working Joe people in the Alien, and they'd have the shitty working Joe stuff.
I guess that's a good explanation. I'm trying not to think about it too much because we got into these like gigantic like 3D renditions of the universe that
I
David's
know.
like, and then all of a sudden,
Hey, to be fair, that came out of a giant alien ship. That was an engineer. See. Okay, but we're on this planet, and we don't have to go like beat by beat. But I did want to talk about just like the colony. It's called Jackson's Star. They just kind of call it Jackson throughout the movie. It just was cool seeing the people, and then this is where we meet our new group of people, our new fodder. And I think to me immediately the vibe I get from, or kind of what I'm seeing, like you said, Alien was the horror movie, Aliens was the action, the drama, the comedy. I feel like Alien Romulus is the slasher, the like teen slasher, because
everyone's so young.
Everyone, little baby, cute babies are up there getting picked off one by one. No one's making too much bad decisions. I'll say there's one decision I was like, I don't know about that. But I really did feel like cute young people getting picked off by the
Yeah.
unseen monster. I mean, it wasn't dumb. It wasn't like a stupid slasher, but I definitely feel like I gotta like, youngins getting cut down one by one.
I think also this movie has been explained as a amalgamation of all Alien movies.
Which, I mean, it's a melting pot for sure. There's so many things from. I mean, the music. There's like cues. I feel like from every movie. I heard a cue from Covenant. 100%.
Yeah.
I heard one. That's how nerdy we are.
Which is weird because that's like for me that's not a very memorable score.
Or no,
Jed Kurzel.
It's not.
I honestly cannot recall a theme from that because it does that. It's doing that thing that the Hans Zimmer's doing where it's less like orchestral or something. It's more ambient.
There's only 2 tracks that I like that I name that I've listened to multiple times, and one is the Med Bay.
Yes.
Which this movie apes 100. Like the music. I mean, they play almost for a second, I was like, are they just playing the track from the Med Bay? It's not. It's kind of beefed up. What you're saying, like an amalgamation of all the movies. They did fit in, and I'll say, and still having an original story, like a newish story. They didn't really follow the arc of the characters. Is not one that we've gotten from the other movies. Like this isn't scientists moving in. This isn't. They're not even like engineers like in the first movie. Or whatever. They're just kids. We never really hear how old they are. Do we?
No. I think they're obviously they're young. They look young.
Are we saying 20s or are we saying teens?
No, I would say definitely low 20s, mid 20s at most. It's really funny because Kaylee Spaney is like she looks like she's fucking 15 years old.
She looks so itty bitty tiny, super. I mean, they all looked really young, and I think they looked even younger because we had just watched Covenant. And everyone's in their, mature 30s, like, which is fun. And I like that.
Yeah, they even made an old actor older.
Yeah, for them. And so it was just like, I was like, man, these are little babies. Their whole life's ahead of them. Also, the movie took place in like a day, right?
Basically.
Like 5 hours.
Yeah.
When the time went up, when the mother was like, you got 70 minutes. I was like, what? And then you got 30 minutes. Like 5 minutes later, I was like, what the fuck? How is the alien going to get to them in time?
Because, that's also another thing I noticed, too, is like the gestation period. Before we even get to that, regarding the music, I recently revealed to you that of all new composers, I, for some reason, hate Benjamin Wallfish. And I think it's just such an irrational hate. Like, I know why I hate him, but this is probably the first score of his where the music wasn't distracting and it actually played to the movie. We discussed this already, but his score for Twisters was definitely distracting for me. And I can't tell you if it's because it was Benjamin, like me going and knowing.
And you knew who it was? Because I didn't know who he was until I listened to that soundtrack. I didn't. I mean, maybe I've heard his music, but I didn't recognize his name until I listened to the Twisters soundtrack. Because
it's like someone writing a score to a temp score, but the temp score is the Twister movie. So he's like trying not
really
to be a
upset me
Twisters
with that movie,
theme.
which quick Twisters review.
Yeah.
They are aping, almost remaking the original movie so much. Just have the fucking old music. Just have the music I wanted those tornadoes to be evil serial killer tornadoes like they were in the first one.
Yes.
Those tornadoes, they growled. They played peekaboo. There was only one time in Twisters where I was like, that tornado's playing a game. And it's when it hid in like the I don't know if you remember. It hides in the rain for a second and then it has a jump scare.
It just pops back down.
But the music during it is like like
for Twisters, right?
For Twisters, yeah. So in the original, it would be like horror music. Like
I know exactly what scene.
Is tornadoes coming after you? And this one, I was like, is it gonna kill him? Is it coming to kiss them?
Both.
Both, kind of. Like, I mean, whatever you think about that, I actually thought the movie was better than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I guess that should be noted too.
Glenn Powell is a movie star. Could get it any which way. I liked the main chick too. I forget her name. I was looking at Glenn Powell.
Did you watch the Hitman movie on Netflix?
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, that's
when I was
so
like this.
fun.
I mean, I thought I knew he was a star since he was Chad Radwell in Scream Queens. Did you ever watch Scream Queens?
No.
His gay best friend Boone in that show was he called him my gay best friend Boone. And in Twisters, his best friend is Boone. I just those two are fucking. Or that had to have been a joke or something. I don't know. But the music didn't go for it.
Yeah.
Like the music in Twisters gave you the awe.
The fun of it, because it was basically just like a modern rendition of like the Oklahoma theme.
I mean, I will always have in my head the scene where it cuts to Bill Paxton. Sorry, Bill Paxton and what's her name? The
Helen Hunt?
No, it's
Monica, or
it's the girl. It's the fiance, Gertie.
Gertie, that's her real name.
Gertie something, but I forget her name in the movie.
Melissa.
Okay, it cuts from I think the weather station people, and then it's like do 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 do, like the music starts playing, and you're racing across the. There was none of that.
No.
In Twisters. I was like, come on, give it to me.
It's like they were too afraid to have I guess it is a classic score now, you know?
They try to make it too serious in some places and then not serious in others.
Which I may have to blame the director on that, because the only movie I know he did before this was Minari, which is like the most low-level, low-budget movie about a Korean family in the Midwest.
Okay. I'm not shocked then.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it's like I can just hear the direction of the director, the composer, and this scene. We know that the Twister is scary, but I want it to be like a juxtaposition of emotions where we see the most terrifying thing, but we're gonna have "Call Me by Your Name" piano twinklings, you know?
Which is just like
didn't work.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
But
Benjamin Wallfish,
this movie, his score in this movie,
this one was fantastic.
It was very good.
I have some notes though, because it's again, thinking back on this, it is like an amalgamation of all the movies, and I feel the music reflected that, because it was choral when it needed to be, it was orchestral when it needed to be, it was horrifying when it needed to be, you know, like via Alien.
The choir really got me. When he put in the choir stuff, I was like, okay, this is. When I first heard it, I was like, not that I didn't like it, but I was just like, this is different.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't seem like it would be different from an Alien movie, but all the Alien soundtracks are pretty different, other than the like doo, 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 like the one note that they play in every one. All the soundtracks are pretty different. Like Prometheus does not sound like any of the other soundtracks, and I felt like this movie almost had, even though it's called Alien, it has its own identity, especially in the music, and
And the only time that it ever not pulled me out, but distracted me was because, you know, we both love film scores, and I feel that my attention goes to the music a lot, whether it's unfairly or not. It's just something that happens. But I noticed, okay, orchestral, very organic, very real, very level. But then it goes in, I feel this is where it's referencing Alien Covenant, where it goes a bit more electronic and it's more bumping.
Resurrection.
You know? Oh, Resurrection is actually low-key my favorite score.
It's really good. The Aliens Escape.
They swim.
Is my favorite track.
Oh wait, dun 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 dun.
That one. That's like he's rolling the thing into the.
John Frizzell.
That's my favorite track. But I heard a lot of that in Romulus, or at least like so the electronic-y stuff comes in. But yeah, Covenant for sure, and especially with the dun 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 dun.
Like a beat. So that's the only part that really distracted me. But other than that. And this is me saying this, but okay, Benjamin Wallfish, you did good.
Yeah, it was only, I wouldn't say distracting, only taking him out in the sense that I was like, oh, that's Prometheus. Oh, that's Covenant. Oh, that's from
for me,
briefly the horns from Aliens.
And for me, it was just the Prometheus cue that was like, Toby's gonna love that.
I look at Brian like, and he was like, I don't know what you're excited about. Okay, so but back to the music.
Yeah.
If you think of anything else, we can go through that.
No, I think I pretty much talked about it.
Our new group of characters. We got Tyler, his sister Kay, who is pregnant. Then we got Bjorn, the asshole, the very cute asshole, and then his girlfriend Navarro. Which when I saw I had only seen the very first trailer for this movie. It's a new thing I'm trying where I'm like not watching anything. So I was like, I thought this whole time, I thought that Kay and Navarro were together because it just
Right.
looked like it,
Uh-huh.
right? And so when they weren't, I was like, wait a minute. Okay, I guess this
I
isn't an LGBT group, but it's fine. It's fine. I question Andy.
Oh, yes, interesting. Essentially, I think they did describe. Did they describe basically Andy as an android with autism?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Which I mean, I think he probably was my favorite performance out of.
I'm realizing now, especially after watching all of these old Alien movies, is that the android seems to steal the show in every movie.
Literally, because I mean, David. Yes, Shaw was my favorite, but David, I mean, is the star of both Prometheus and Covenant. Like, when you get to him in Covenant, the movie really starts.
Yeah, and you're lying if you're saying that you did not giggle when he said, "And I'll do the fingering."
Oh no, I rewound that movie. I've watched that scene in slow mo several times. I mean, and then he kisses him. I think I quote the line, "You're such a disappointment to me," to everything, anything, anytime something goes wrong. And I'll just. No, we'll go back. We'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to it because I was going to segue, but we'll get to it. But I just want to talk about just this group of. So we got. So Rain's Kaylee Spanier. Now she's a big up and comer. I haven't seen or heard of any of these other ones, but we got Archie Renault, who's Tyler, Spike Fern as Bjorn, David Johnson as Andy, and then Isabella Merced as Kay. And she is actually going to be. I don't know if you know anything. If you played The Last of Us Part 2?
No.
Or know anything about it?
Yes. Who's she playing?
She's going to be Dina.
No way.
Yeah. So when I was watching this movie, and I didn't know watching it. It was afterwards. She was so good. I felt like Kay was a great she wasn't really in the movie for a good portion of it. She was just kind of sitting on the ship. You know, we knew she was pregnant. Her part really didn't kind of come in until towards the end of the movie. But I thought she was such a. Do you like this character? Do you love this character? Now they're in mortal danger. Like when she fell out of the ship and was crawling and the Xeno comes out on the grates above her. I just was every time I saw her, I was like, this chick is dead. I was genuinely worried for her, and I was like, okay, well, she's gonna be a perfect Dina. Because if there is a character in that movie or in that game that you're just like, please don't kill her, please don't. And every time you think she's gonna die, you're just like, oh fuck. That's kind of how I felt with her, and I felt real bad with what happened to Kay.
Yeah.
At the end of this movie.
Well, yeah.
And we got Eileen Wu as Navarro. Sorry, the pilot.
Yeah. But it's really funny because for me, I had the revelation post watching the movie that Isabella Merced is Dora in the Dora movie.
Is she really?
And I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
Dora did some exploring in this one.
Yeah, and I loved that movie.
I still haven't seen it, but I remember you saying that it was really
no
good.
right to be that good.
Well, good for her. I'm glad she's coming up in the world.
Yeah. And in regard, honestly, I think I liked all the characters.
Yeah.
And I even understood Bjorn and the way he was acting toward the android.
I got him. And they had such short time to make us, to give everyone a background, a moment, and to get us to know who they were. So I thought they worked that in pretty well. I mean, yeah, I thought he was an asshole, but I got it.
But, unfortunately for me,
he had a Ripley complex, right? Because of Ash. Ripley had a problem with Bishop.
Yeah, a little bit of, negativity toward the android. So what is it?
Androidist.
Yeah. But, the problem with him is that, I wish I could understand your plight, but I honestly can't understand what the hell you're saying.
Really?
I could not understand what he was saying. I needed subtitles for this movie because everyone almost spoke with an accent.
Yeah, he did. What was it? It was was it a posh?
He was basically a British meme because me and my roommate always say,
oi. It was that kind of...
Yeah, it's there's something in the water.
Yeah, okay, yes. He was a chav. He was a chav.
But then we add, there's something in the bottle of water.
I could be wrong.
It was just, I don't know. I will watch this on 4K and be like, I need subtitles.
Yeah. I'm definitely glad I watched it a second time because I caught some stuff that I had missed. And Andy changes his accent. His performance was just so good.
Yeah.
He has an American accent to start. And then when he gets his new chip, he goes to a strong British accent, a very proper accent, and then he goes back. Yeah, I think everyone did a really good job. I'm trying to think of who. The only one, not that I didn't like him, but I think Tyler, the like sort of the heartthrob, was kind of the least like fleshed out. Like I really didn't care what happened to him, and I kind of kept forgetting who he was.
Yeah.
Like the first time I watched it.
You're talking about the French dude?
The hunk, the one that I guess maybe him and Brain were together at some point. That's also, we don't really get, how do they all know each other? That's one thing I'm like, there's a deleted scene somewhere.
Something in there. Which, I mean, I didn't really question that. I just kind of like, okay, yeah, they just know each other.
Yeah.
Again, I guess that's more of the whole movies need to movies, so we just accept that. Oh, okay, there's history
they know
here.
they're friends. And then, and their whole plight to get off the planet was really relatable. Like, none of their like reasonings for what they did I had a problem with. And I thought they were all very strong actors throughout. Like, there's not, I mean, Isabella Merced, like her pain, like her like screaming and like being in pain, I was just like, oh my god, I'm in pain with you. I thought her birth like facial stuff was just as good as Shaw getting the thing ripped out,
getting
of
like
her.
the abortion.
So I was really, and I don't know, I always kind of worry when you see a younger cast getting kind of shoved into sort of a prestige. Can you call that the Alien franchise a prestige? It's all of a sudden it's like, now we have the young hot things, and it just was like, these were actors, so like, they really went for it.
Well, I don't know. It is a very well-known, iconic, series. So
it is, although I feel like not as iconic as maybe the filmmakers think. I mean, it is iconic, but I think when we'll talk in a minute about my biggest problem, I don't think it's as iconic as maybe some people think it is. As iconic in the way they think that it is.
I think it's iconic mainly by design. I think the only thing that people, when they think about Alien, is the xenomorph.
I think it's really just it's just that, which makes my problems even the more frustrating for me.
Which, I mean,
let's just get into it.
Apparently, though, it's successful enough that what is this? Technically, the 9th Alien movie.
Yeah.
Alien 9. Mm-hmm. So, but yes, let's get into it.
I was trying to think of a funny, like, what could they have called it? Alien. Also, one question about the spaceship or the space station. And did you get that? Did you catch that line? No, that's not a ship. It's a space station.
Oh, right.
They don't say it's a space station, but I'm like, they left a beat there for everyone in the audience to be like, it's a space station. So it's called the movie's called Alien Romulus. Half of the space station is called Romulus. The other half is Remus. Do you ever get an explanation why it's called Romulus and not?
Aside from just the obvious like symbolism
and
of those,
the ship, they have to get to the Romulus side because the ship conveniently crashes into the hangar, but the hangar is on the Romulus side. So the only thing I could think of is because they had to get to the Romulus section, and that's why it's called Romulus.
Yeah, that's just about it, really. Just the ship's called, and aside from like the obvious,
I was expecting some kind of revelation or something that had to do with the, I don't know, the name.
Because I mean, wasn't it just Covenant?
The ship, the Covenant was like the name of the colony ship.
I guess it has a double meaning with like the Covenant of the Christ or.
I think Alien Remus sounds a little.
Yeah, that's a little too. Romulus rolls off the tongue a little bit
cooler.
more.
Alien Remus.
Well, I mean, I guess they just gave up. Now the TV show is Alien Earth,
which. That's a whole other topic.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing. Did you see the teaser for it?
No, I haven't seen anything about it.
It's literally, I mean, if you want to know, it's like 5 seconds long, and it's just the xenomorph, CGI xenomorph with the reflection of the Earth in its dome, and then
CGI.
Yeah, it didn't look practical at all. But I mean, I think it's just a teaser. I'm hoping to. But it was a clearly CGI, like quickly rendered xenomorph making and then you see the Earth like in its head.
Well.
We got to talk about the practical effects, though.
We do.
We'll get there. The ship. Okay, have you played Alien Isolation?
No.
Damn it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Fede Alvarez.
Yeah.
Fede?
But I think I've seen enough gameplay to know that
Okay.
obviously a lot of love came from that game.
It was so cool because I've wanted an Alien Isolation movie for so long. I just thought that was a fun story and really easily made into a movie, and you can continue the Ripley whatever. But I was at least, this is probably the closest I'll ever get to that, because I mean they put so much detail from the games. I mean, there's plot points in the movie that are things you do in the game, that it was just like so weird to see it. Like them crawling through the vents, it was like the vents. Them, I mean, there's a part. I mean, and these are little. So this is stuff that if you're a gamer, played that game a lot, you would just know. Like even parts where there's parts in the game where you have to go on like almost like those like suitcase conveyor belts at airports, and you go through the little flaps. Like it goes through the flap, and they do that. And they go like they crawl onto the ramp and they go through the flaps, and it's just like. They have to open the door and they have to like pump it manually, and they like it's the literal shot of the hand coming up to pump it manually and pressing the button. So for me, I was just like, oh my god, that stuff was I was almost nerding out more of the like the game stuff. They even had like the save points, the little machine that you save your game on. You could see them in the background of like different things, and so that was great, and the design of it in general like was so fucking cool.
Yes,
we've been on spaceships this whole time, which is still, I mean, they're all cool, but it was really cool seeing like a full station, the labs and everything, the corridors, and I liked the light coming through the shutters on the outside.
Yeah.
I thought that was just there was just so much room for cool.
That felt
visuals.
Very David Finch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Fincher.
Yeah. And is there anything that stuck out to you on the
Design-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything.
Everything, right?
God,
it was hard to like. There are so many. I feel like every frame you could put as your background, right? Like your background on the computer. Like it just.
No, this needs to really be the fucking standard for movies set in space. Okay, I understand. Well, not even, because now they have technology that you can project backgrounds onto, like, sets outside looking at the windows, it would project space. But this, it would
like the rings, like seeing the ship against the rings, like the silhouette, like just.
It felt so wonderful to see a practical world set in modern, with movies today, where it didn't feel like these actors were looking beyond and then the set stops because we got to fill it with blue screen.
Yeah, it felt like they were there.
Yeah. The practicality of this movie is absolutely gorgeous.
No, the ships were practical, right?
Oh, all miniatures.
They were all miniatures,
Yeah.
right? Okay, I knew, because I was watching, I was like, this just... It feels different.
Real.
It felt different, and like definitely. I mean, there's a lot of modern effects in it, but when it comes to at least the production design, like it fit right in with Alien and Aliens. Like just the fact using the models, using the miniatures, I think just like puts you back in that world. And
which I'll never know why someone would ever just say, "Oh, we'll do it in digital." When I don't know, like I really wish they would still make movies of this caliber using practical stuff. Like, is it that difficult to build a miniature?
I think
the only person who does that nowadays with sci-fi is Denis Villeneuve. With like mainly Blade Runner, but like I don't know if any I don't think any miniatures were used in Dune, but like. I remember seeing a lot of miniature work with Blade Runner 2049, and that looked great.
It always looks good. It always adds something to it. Gives it a classic feel, I think. And then, I mean, on top of the sets and stuff, the amount of practical creatures I was really surprised at. I mean, I knew there were going to be some, and I like there were articles or interviews where they talked about using practical stuff, but like a lot of this was a lot of the xenomorph shots. Like, I mean. The xenomorph headshot is kind of like the most you see of the xenomorph in every movie. It's like that classic front shot, and everyone was a practical effect. I could just see it right there, and I could tell the actors were looking at it. And with the smoke and it just felt like old school filmmaking, where someone had a light flashing, like it's the lightning on it, and like puffing up the smoke, and just I could just see the crew being like, "Okay, go!" And it was exciting to see.
It's like they didn't need to act because there was something there.
Yeah, and it looked great. Like I thought the design was really cool too, and I was questioning it from what I saw in the trailer, but it made sense to me, kind of. I have one little nitpick, but
go ahead.
With the main xenomorph, it's not really a nitpick. I just was like, why is he glowing still? Like, what? I got that what happened to it, and I got why it was like melted, because Bjorn electrocuted it.
Oh, you mean like why is it all dripping?
Why is it all like cracked? Like it doesn't, like the xenomorph doesn't have a smooth head.
Right.
The xenomorph has like its head is like melted on this side. Almost, and so it looks almost like more beetle-ish, like it has a carapace or something.
Yeah.
And on the inside, it like the electricity was sparking.
I guess maybe that's why. I didn't really think
I didn't get why the electricity was stuck in the dome. Like when there were like hero shots of the xenomorph, and it was like, I'm evil, and then its dome would like light up with electricity sparks. And
was he the one that gets crushed in the elevator at the end?
And it's the one that Andy shoots. It's
Yeah,
like the
I
one
mean,
that,
because I was thinking maybe there's like a logic where, like, maybe this is them referencing AVP, where the alien has the net over its head, so that became
that's
like
the only thing I'm thinking
the central one.
He's the main one. Like there's the main xenomorph. I'm gonna call him Sparky because he doesn't really have one, but he is as a baby. He gets attacked by Bjorn in his sleeping cozily in its pod, which was also like, what is going on there?
We may as well talk about it.
Okay,
so I'm thinking, because we never see the xenomorph, at least from my memory, we don't see what happens between when it's a little cute alien, with a little top hat, and when it dances its way across the table.
Yeah.
And then we only see it go from that to like the big xenomorph. So I'm thinking this one just added in an extra little step in there because we've actually never seen that process. But apparently that little chest burster goes into another vagina looking pod and then comes out a full.
I just thought because you always see the skin.
The skin. And there was skin in this one.
Yeah, and there was skin. So I always thought it was just like there's probably a bunch of other bigger skins laying around somewhere.
It just grew.
But I didn't mind it.
I didn't mind it. It was
at
new.
First I was like, what? I don't get it. But then I thought about it. I was like, I guess we really have never, like you said, we never really saw what happened in between.
Yeah.
That or, also black goo, which can do anything that you want it to do in the movie. And maybe, and that, but the electricity, I just thought it was funny. It was like, I was like, every time he's like, I'm here, it's, and you see all this, you see it light up, and it's just like, I'm a star.
I guess it didn't bug me as much.
It didn't bug me, but my mind, that's where my mind goes. It was like, I just want to know why. I just want to know why he's lighting up in there like a light up shoe, like a sneaker that lights up that's what it looked like to me. But I mean, it's cool. It looked cool though, and now this is the main one. Yeah. This is the really bad one.
Honestly, from that scene, there's only one thing that truly mystified me. Why did Bjorn's chest explode? I was like,
on the second time, I still don't fucking know.
My roommate watched it a second time too, and we're just going. He watched it, paid attention, and like I'm like, first of all, I don't think everyone liked that character anyway. So he should have got the worst death, where he should have just melted. He should have gotten
eaten. He should have been full out of. I mean, I don't mind him being melted, but I thought I wanted him to get tore the fuck up.
Yeah, I was okay with a melt death. Okay. That would like be your throwback to 80s, face melts and all that. But I don't know. I guess when acid just hits your.
Well, the only thing I could think of is it was like, his heart blew up.
That's what I don't know.
It melted through his chest plate, and it took however long, and it just took a couple seconds more, and once it reached his heart exploded.
See, now that's the thing I can't let go, because
the first time I saw it, I was like, did the tail come out and stab him real quick, and I just missed the shot. And the second time I was watching really closely, and no, his chest just. I don't know. Yeah. So acid blood makes your heart explode as well if it touches it, I guess.
We're adding that to the lore.
Back to the alien. Yeah. There was a shot of the alien that I fucking loved, and I kind of forget where it's at, but it's he's standing at the end of the hallway, and you see it mostly in silhouette, and Rain sees him. And the face huggers start to run from behind it, run after her, coming from behind it, and it just looked like, fly, my babies, fly, my pretty. It just looked like the Fred xenomorph was like,
in
go.
From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yes, go, my children, feed. It's what it looked like, and I was like, I really liked the characterization of this alien. I mean, they're all really cool, but this one just felt like a really mean one too. He just really wanted to do these kids in. And I guess we can kind of talk about the face huggers too, which are different. These are new, right? A little bit different.
I felt the face huggers were more of a threat than the xenomorphs.
Because there were so many of them. And these ones were jumping around, they were breaking through glass. I mean, they kind of do that in the other ones, but it's never to I feel like this is the first time we've seen mass amounts of them crawling. You get one or two in that room in Aliens.
Yeah.
But I feel like this one we were seeing like almost like zombie flood, like where they're just like running over each other and jumping in the air.
I just like how they got the is it Shrieker logic now, where they hunt by body heat.
Yes, I was like, okay, this guy saw Tremors too.
Yeah,
because there's like that is the scene from Tremors 2. Like all they do is like it's not cold, but it's the same like.
Which that was a really tense scene. I really loved that scene.
But I couldn't. That's all I could think about when that happened. Yeah. I was like, oh, they're gonna do the Tremors thing. Okay. They have barbs, which didn't really come into too much effect, but it was cool.
Has that always been a thing? It makes sense.
No, it's this is the only movie that had them have little barbs on their fingers. Mm-hmm. I thought they were going to try, and when I learned about that, I thought we were going to get a scene of like someone's face getting ripped off or something, but they didn't really like have any consequence. I did think we got a whole lot of this tube's going in my mouth or not.
Oh, they really upped that up.
There's a shot with Tyler, Archie Renault, where he's holding it like away from his mouth and he's blowing that. Like I feel like the direction was like kind of look like you're sucking in it because he's literally like pursing. He's like he's slurping on that thing for a couple shots frames. And I'm like, I just see the director being like, okay. More like you want it to come in your mouth. Like,
it's like, what this movie needs? This movie needs more rape.
More of it. But it was good. Like it gave you the ick.
Yeah, because you don't think about it. You only see like X-rays of it, but you just never see the actual thing. You never
see the
little.
And when they take it off of Navarro, which was in such a cool, I thought a clever way of how they got the face hugger off of Navarro. That the chick who gets the chest burster where they freeze it.
Because it's like the first time that happened.
Yeah, it's forever, but
they always talk about like putting him in cryo.
It makes sense because it worked. If we know anything about the alien at this point, is that it is affected by high or like strong temperature, whether it's low or high. But we've only gone to fire, and so this one we don't have a flamethrower, we have an ice thrower. Or froster, or whatever
that is, like a cryo gun or something.
Cryo machine. Yeah. I liked hearing cryo fuel a lot. We got to get the cryo fuel. Just hadn't heard that term. And they turn the cryo fuel into the makes like a thing I wish we could. I mean, it's really easy to make weapons in the Alien universe. Everything's like modular. You could just connect it and make a new thing.
It's fucking dangerous. Well, I mean, I love that line too. It's like, humans aren't really meant for space exploration. So
take this black goo and you'll be But yeah, the facehuggers were cool, and like all the practicality, like seeing the ones that were like clearly like on wheels, like remote control, like scattering around, was really fun. I feel like even though you can tell something's practical, or you can like that's a robot, it doesn't take me out. Like I never have. Some people have a problem with that. Like if they're not seeing something CGI moving incredibly fluid, they're like, well, that's not good.
Yeah,
like, you can see it kind of whatever. I love that kind of old.
Yeah,
kind of filmmaking.
We recently watched Blade 2 for obvious reasons, because it's a great legendary return of Blade, and
it was real legendary.
And that's like the one thing that really bugged me about Blade 2 was that you go from this one puppet that goes like sticks his fingers in the guy's back versus like the digital one where we see a little later on. So I'm like, some things you need to do, some things you don't. I mean, there's obviously other far worse examples of VFX in that movie, but that's the one thing that comes to mind as far as like creature stuff goes. We're not even going to get into the Thing because that's just going to be its own.
That's a whole new.
My God, I will say this though, that I know that Fede Alvarez is mainly with, I guess, 20th Century Fox or 20th Century now, but like if for some reason they're contemplating a Thing remake, get Fede to do it.
Well, that remake was a prequel, wasn't it?
Well, see that's what I'm gonna just
like
anything that is Thing related, give it to Fede.
They're remaking the old Thing PS2 game. Why can't we get a movie?
I don't know. Maybe they're gauging the waters. If there's any interest,
better buy it. I guess
and just let him do all the practical effects, even the little shoddy ones. Because as glorious as the '80s Thing is, I know that those are, makeup effects and whatnot. But let's just do a proper remake. No digital alterations, no digital
It's so sad
enhancements.
seeing the original, like the original animatronics for the Thing prequel, and knowing that they were there on set and and then they CGI'd over them. Like that is so egregious to me.
I want them to do a Thing re-release, like they're doing for Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, where they're releasing a cut of the film without the monkey VFX, and they show the actors there actually on set. I want that, but with
Might
the
be more
Thing.
entertaining than the movie.
I will see, because I know that they're there, but it will be nice to see the proof. Not that I'm doubting that they weren't there.
Did you like that movie?
I absolutely enjoyed it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was bored as shit.
Really?
And I was like, what are we doing here? I don't know. Like I had problems with that movie.
I mean, for a sequel that doesn't involve Caesar, yes, it's the actual way to go with the bastardization of his message like 200, 300 years later.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with that. I liked the bad guy, I guess. But you don't get to him for 40 fucking minutes into the movie.
And I was really excited about the music, because they throw back to the original Jerry Goldsmith hunt cue.
The music was good. I just thought the movie, maybe I heard too many. Maybe it was a case of like everyone was like, this is the most amazing Apes movie you'll see. And it just wasn't for me.
Well, I mean, I think it was the most amazing one. I think for me that goes to Dawn.
Dawn, yeah, I agree with that. Dawn. But yeah, okay. I guess we can talk about it since we're talking about the effects.
Yeah.
And the practicality. There's one. So the movie has a ton of, like, with the music we already talked about, a ton of callbacks. Like, just there's a shit ton of fan. It is kind of Alien, the fan movie, a bit.
Yeah.
And I really like this movie, but even on the second view, which it wasn't as bad for me the second time I saw it, I don't know why they did what they did with Ash. That, to me, is such a blight on the movie, because everything else is so good that when that came on, and again, I haven't read shit about this movie. I didn't listen to rumors. I didn't look at like Alien Twitter. Nothing. So I had absolutely no idea that was coming. And I was just like, oh no. Oh no.
Because, first of all, Ian Holm is dead.
Number one.
Yeah.
He's gone.
And second of all, this face, what is it called?
Why? And maybe I don't even have a big of a deal that it's an Ash model or whatever the model. It's Rook in this movie, but whatever the model, the name of the model is, it's an Ash. Maybe like I would have been okay with it if they just did an actor, if they just picked a lookalike and like did some prosthetics, did whatever Loomis in Halloween Kills, right? Like something like that. Like make him a little like more fucked up in the face so that you kind of hide that it's not him. I didn't need it to be the actor to believe that it could have been an android model that looked, that was...
Like, I thought it was just going to be, he's there for that one scene, but that guy just comes back.
That is the thing, is he keeps coming fucking back. And I'm like, why is he a character in this movie? After a bit, you start seeing him, like, on the computer screen, like, on the monitors. I was like, okay, fine. Well, give us the one cringy scene where you see, the music plays, and you see who it is, and most of the theater is like, who is this? Because most of the people this is kind of what I'm getting to, most of the people watching Alien right now who are in the theaters, they know Prometheus and Covenant, and maybe even their first Alien was AVP. These people aren't going back to see the first Alien. They don't know Ash.
Unless you're a very specific kind of film goer.
Me, right? Unless you are us, very specific people who actually go back. When I was younger, I did go back and watch older movies. Now that's not really a thing. I mean, there's people who Jurassic is Jurassic World. Like Jurassic Park, they won't even go back. Like, we're at that point. That's how old we are now. They won't even go back to that. So I just feel like this was purely an ego. Like, this is purely a Ridley Scott. I read that Ridley and Fede both talked about this and wanted, like, it was purposeful. Like, this is what they wanted to do with the story. And I just was like, why like this?
It felt wrong and it looked wrong.
He looked so bad, and I'm just like, you had to have questioned this. You, Fede Alvarez, your movies look great. All this, everything else is looking so good. You obviously have an eye, to do all this. You couldn't see it. If you couldn't see it, does it look kind of bad? Like,
and like specifically, like if you're gonna do like a android like that, like fuck it up even more and give us something similar to the animatronic you used for Alien 3
with Bishop.
With
That's
Bishop.
what I mean is like.
because it was an animatronic.
Yeah,
but it makes sense because he was all fucked up, so like naturally he shouldn't be like looking that good.
Yeah.
But this one, he just looked like something was projected.
The realism just got, and I already said it earlier, I'll be a hypocrite. Like, realism isn't a big thing, but the movie is definitely like has a weight to it. Like, even though it's fantastical, it still feels like, okay, this is happening. I'm not really questioning too much other than the shiny, sparkly alien. But then that comes in, and you get all the cool like production design, and everything's very visceral. You can feels like you can touch everything, and then you get this cartoon monstrosity in the middle of it with his head bopping around, and just felt bad. And then to learn that there was an actual actor there, like there was an actor there in prosthetics and like doing the voice, like that's an actor doing the voice along with help of like, like using voice reference from the movie. But there was an actual actor there doing all that. Why not just put some more shit on his face and be like, that's Ash? Like, why did it have to be Ian Holmes' face?
Yeah, because honestly, the whole time I was sitting there, it wasn't. I actually kind of didn't hear what he was saying because in the back of my mind, I was just like, "This is like an AI voice generation. This is like one of those digital face replacements."
It was so smooth. It was. I mean, I was getting thoughts of the fucking Luke Skywalker in what fucking was it? Was it?
It was the ending
Boba
of The
Fett?
Mandalorian, or
I thought it was the ending of Boba Fett. I think.
one of those. I know one of them looked better than the other. I think the Book of Boba Fett is where he kind of comes and rescues Grogu. Yeah. So that one, that's the shitty one.
That looked terrible. I was like, this is the same thing. Like it just every time I saw the face, I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
No.
No, I felt really nasty about that.
But like if I would have been okay if, like we said, that one scene, the intro scene where he's there, and then just see his face on the monitors for the rest. Because at least on the monitor, it's kind of distorted. I can kind of, okay, I'll let it go.
Should it have been like a David model?
That's what I was going to say next. It should have been fucking David. Honestly, it should have been David. Because David, I mean, if there was other models, David transferred his consciousness into Walter's body. So it's not even at the end of Covenant. It's not even David's body. It's Walter now. He's a brunette. David could have done that. I know it like takes place 100 years, I think, after Prometheus.
An android.
He could have transferred his consciousness into a ton of different ones. And if you're calling back to Prometheus and Covenant so much, I mean, this movie, a main part of the plot you wouldn't have without Prometheus, and is the black goo. I just feel like why Ash? If anyone's gonna remember or get a callback or be like, oh, that's so and so, that's that android, it would be David, because that's really the only android that at least today's audiences are going to be the most familiar with.
Yeah, because anybody who gets
and Michael Fassbender's alive. I don't know if y'all know that, but he's alive and swinging.
Because so like the only people who will ever truly be excited about seeing Ash is like definitely 70 or older.
Yes, and I mean the first time I saw it, a lot of elderly in the theaters. In the theater. So and the
only reason why I reacted is because naturally we love these movies, so we rewatch them a lot. So it was like, oh, that's Ash.
But I wasn't hearing gasps in the theater. Like I wasn't seeing people being like, "Oh my god, did you see who?"
I heard gasps on a scene. I'm pretty sure we're gonna come up and talk about soon.
Okay. But okay, so this is my biggest problem. And the second time I watched it, I think because I knew it was coming, it was easier for me to digest and kind of. I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna let the movie be the movie. But it's bad. It's a very. I don't know how anyone could be like that was a good choice, other than you or Ridley Scott, who is famously up his own ass. It's just David was right there. It just pisses me off because
it's a missed opportunity.
It's a missed opportunity. But I feel like to me that's like the worst thing. That's like the biggest dent in the movie, among gold. everything else I really, really enjoyed. Even if you want to get to the third, like the thing that everyone freaked out about, that I was like, there's a couple times in the movie, and this doesn't happen to me really in movies now. I think maybe you're the same way, where I like was legit shocked. Like I legit was like, are they really gonna do that? Like, is this really? This isn't. They're not gonna do that. It also gave me did you have any wild theories? I just want to bring that up. Were you ever, because I didn't know what the movie was going to be about, really?
I personally didn't have any theories. My roommate did, though, because he doesn't really care about spoilers, so he'll go deep into that rabbit hole, the Twitter.
These are theories I came up with while I was watching it, or I thought it was going to end.
No, for me, the only theory going in, and it was just before because it just happened, my roommate happened to mention it, and I think a lot of people thought the same, and that, this is going to be the movie to describe where the Queen came from.
That's where I was like, okay, damn. I was Isabella Merced. I was like, she's the Queen.
Yeah,
she's the alien
that's kind of where I thought.
Up until, and I have to imagine at some point that was it. Like because they were really pushing like, this is between alien and alien. It's going to connect the two. Like I was hearing all these different words. So I just thought for sure. I was like, and then she injects herself with the black goo, and then the Rook comes online and is like, let me pilot you somewhere safe. LV-422, like he was going to land her there. And then I just thought for sure, I was like, if we're going to do all this fan service thing, okay, let's really go for it. And that's where we get the Queen. And now I thought it was going to be cool because then now we have different versions of the xenomorph. Now we find out they don't have to come from a queen. They can come from the black goo, or they can have a cocoon like the one we saw. Like I was like, okay, they're gonna make it canon now that maybe they can turn a person into an egg, and that egg turns into a face.
I thought that was always a thing, though.
No, it's in the director's cut of Aliens, but it's not considered canon.
Really? Because I thought that the captain was being turned into an egg in the first one.
In the director's cut, we don't ever see what happens to him after you get the.
Because I thought that was a thing where that's the only reason why, aside from being face hugger.
That's why Cameron invented the Queen, because he was like, he didn't count that because it wasn't in the movie, and I don't think we had a director's cut when Aliens
back then. Yeah.
So he created like more of the life cycle. So I that's where I thought we were gonna go, and it did not.
I don't know if I like it or not. I feel if they did, it still would have faced like, scrutiny from fans, because it would be, okay, well, that's the obvious route. But honestly, for me, that whole third act felt like it was altered from something else. That it felt
has
it was
a different feel from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, and I it's hard to see if people gauging this scene, if they liked it or not. I've heard, I think even you said that it was like nightmare fuel, and I did not get that.
I thought, okay, so like when I heard, I gasped too, in the theater gasped when you first see it, just like lingering in the hallway, and it's like the silhouette. Do you remember that, the very first shot of the, where
it's like kind of like peeking?
Yeah, and does it have a name? You can't call it the newborn, right? Because there is already a newborn.
I mean, I'm sticking with my
abomination.
I'm sticking with my funny little iteration of it, a reverse engineered engineer.
Yes, okay.
Because I mean, that's what it was.
It was an engineer, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it had the engineer face. That's why I felt like this is so. The end felt more like a Prometheus Covenant type of abomination we've created. And the very, like, I don't know, something about it looking so sleek, too.
Disjointed, too.
It
was giving me Lucifer's son from Constantine.
It was giving me that. It was giving me, I mean, it had like it had a neomorphish body.
I mean, it did its job. It actually shocked me, and it was unexpected, so maybe that was a positive.
That's what I have to give it, is that not that I don't like it. It's that it just comes out of left field. So it's so different from what we have seen for the hour and whatever it took to get here, that it's kind of jarring that all of a sudden there's an egg with the baby in it. Like, also that scene I thought was when she like picks up the egg and like drops it and it just like lands in the sand. That whole part was kind of clunky to me. I was just like, this is kind of funny. And then her going down and it's already broken out.
Yeah, it's really hard to say if it was good or bad.
I think time will give us the answer.
And I think this is a case where we need to gauge other people's responses to see if what we're feeling is
The reaction I'm seeing is overwhelmingly positive.
Mm-hmm.
And this might be from, I don't know if it's from like huge fans or just casual fans, but from what I've seen online, it's like it's the most amazing third act you've ever seen. And it's not.
No.
It's definitely not. I feel like Covenant's third act on like that kind of battle was a bit more exciting than this one.
Yeah. Except the problem with Covenant is that it's like 75% of the movie is its own like philosophical musing, and then like the last 25%, we're making an alien movie.
Yeah,
we should probably have an
I
alien ending.
I agree with that. I just felt like the way they went about it was a bit, I don't know. I maybe I have to see it a third time. I mean, I'm sure we're going to see this movie countless times. I hope there's a commentary.
Always.
I hope we get deleted scenes. I'm really upset right now. Is like so far this is the only alien movie, not counting the AVPs, maybe they do, that does not have an art book, and does not seem to have one coming out. And if you look to your left,
oh my god,
you can see the amount. I have the alien.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm seeing 5
right there, and then David's drawings over here.
No freaking way!
Oh, and it's so amazing. If you want to borrow that,
I'm gonna look at I want to borrow that.
Yes, it's
I'm also seeing a lot of alien novelizations over here.
100%. So I'm well versed, and you might think, wow, Alien is his favorite of all time. Jurassic Park is my favorite of all time, but Alien, for some reason, they really Fox shells out money for Alien merchandise.
Mm-hmm.
There are, and the books are actually really good.
Spaceballs, man.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I was so shocked. I'm like, were you not confident in this one? Because usually by this point there would be like a ton of stuff. I was excited. I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna get a new soundtrack and we get all these new art and making of books. That's like one of my favorite parts of these movies coming out. And there's been no word.
Man, that is a little disheartening and actually kind of shocking.
Because this movie looks so good, and I want to see the concept art and all that. But yeah, do you ever? Harrison is a big reader. You're a big reader.
Literally and figuratively.
Have you read the? Stop. Have you read any of the Alien?
Just the Alien 3 novelization.
Okay. I highly recommend the extended universe books because they're telling stories a lot similar to Romulus, actually. And and there's one specific. I'll tell you after. I'll give you the name because there's one I think you really should read. That's really, really good.
So a couple things on that. One, there are so many extended universe books that it's a situation of where the fuck do I begin?
I will tell you.
Okay.
I'll tell you where to begin.
And 2, I'm slowly realizing that sci-fi is probably not my favorite genre to read.
Yes, I can, yeah. Sci-fi can very easily be really bad or really boring.
Because, unfortunately, I'm only basing this statement on, I'm currently reading through the Dune books very slowly. So maybe others are different, but I'm only saying this might be true because reading Alien 3 was a little difficult. Because while I know like the characters are describing what's happening, I'm like, wait a minute, what did I just read? So I have to kind of go back, I'm
gonna name. I'll give you one. I'll have to write it down because the name is called Alien into Charybdis. Into Charybdis. I believe is the name. I'll have to look because I haven't read it yet, but they came out with a sequel to it.
Because I keep seeing the books like at Barnes, and there's some like bundled together like as 3 books.
The omnibus, you have the omnibuses there too.
I keep seeing that, and I'm not sure if it's like a middle chapter or the first 3 books or the last 3 books. I don't really know. It
is a lot. You kind of have to go to Wikipedia to kind of like find, and some are like in different universes or not like part of the same chronological order. But I would say that Into Charybdis is a very good book. Just story in general, but like really good alien book. It's that, and there's another one, and they were the first time I read them where I'm like, this should have been a movie. Like this is I've read a lot of like extended universes and extended universe alien books, but there's 2 that I'm like, damn, this would have been a good fucking book. A good fucking movie. Like when you read it, you're just I could see the Wayland, I could just see everything. And if you know the movies, I think it'll be really easy for you to like put yourself in the world.
We'll see. I mean, I'm not saying no, but I will have to put it on a very, very long list of
You
books
have an
I'm reading.
insane list.
Yeah.
You have an insane list. Okay. Well, that was my TED Talk on extended alien books. So that was, yeah, that third act. It is exciting and it is creepy, and I think the biggest plus is that I was shocked. My mouth, when she started to give birth, I was like, no, we're not. I was like, okay, her stomach's gonna burst. And I was like, oh nope, we're going the natural route. We're really going for it. And the actress's performance
With
and
that scene, yeah.
just like it really got me. And I was like, my mouth was, I was whatever was gonna come after. Just like my mouth was hung open watching that. Like I cannot believe they went here. And they did. They I will give it to them as they really go for it with the horror. And the gore and the ick, they don't shy away. Whereas I feel like today, it's really easy for movies and horror movies now to be a bit The Strangers remake, a bit vanilla. Is that the word?
Yeah. What was the point of that?
I can't. That in itself needs to be its own. That needs to be a commentary.
That is probably my. Well, I recently watched something else that took that spot, but until I watched that, that was probably my least favorite movie of the year.
I was so furious watching it. It's at this point, it is my least favorite movie of the year. I don't even count it as a movie. It was awful.
I don't get it.
God damn that movie.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be. It's gonna be.
And then the breastfeeding, right? Is that how she died? Did he like suck the life out of her? Literally, like he was because he was like breastfeeding from her.
It kind of looked like it.
Oh no! When I saw it the second time, that's exactly what the little mouth was like. And then he kind of just drops her body and she falls.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was because she touched her breast and she like
Yeah.
she was lactating, but it was black goo or it was like some kind of gooiness, and I was like, that is disgusting.
See, now I think that would benefit from a rewatch because mentally I checked out.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, I loved this movie up to the point when there was such a illogical callback to "Get away from her, you bitch."
Okay, we have to talk about that.
Yes.
We have to talk about that. There are some really cool callbacks. And I'm a sucker for fan service. Like I can recognize it when it's too much, and I definitely will. I can hate on stuff for it, but like I like seeing callbacks, or just as long as it's not taking me out of the movie, or I'm not like immediately like, well, that was done way better. And that when they do a callback and it just reminds you of how much better it was in the original, and that part was just like, why? Like why?
Yeah.
Did you really? Sometimes I just like I want to think about like the filmmakers, like when they're watching it. Like they're editing it, they're watching the screening of it or whatever. Are they being like, "Fuck yeah, that was awesome"? Like I don't know.
No, there was no reason for Andy to like know that line. Nobody. Well, I think people almost clapped. Coy, when he watched it for this, my roommate, he watched it for the second time. Apparently, everyone clapped.
I heard a couple people laugh, like, yeah, that's the line.
Like I know that. I know those lines.
I mean, the only impotence he'd have, like reason he'd have to say it, is that Bjorn kept calling him bitch throughout the movie. He would just be like bitch. So I
like a Terminator logic.
Yeah, so that I could he had his like powerful moment, and so he's gonna say bitch to someone else. The poor alien didn't deserve that. The alien had just saved one of my favorite parts. I really liked this alien. When he the elevator scene, I do want to really quick. I thought they got a lot of mileage out of this elevator because they went up and down it a billion times in like the same 10 minutes. But they had I thought it was like really Deep Blue Sea feeling where they were going up the elevator shaft, and like just the whole elevator thing reminded me of Deep Blue Sea, with like even the elevator like at the top threatening to come down.
It's funny you say that. I get Hollow Man.
Oh my god, that just what is it with 90s movies and long elevator shaft scenes? But when she falls for a split second, I was like, are they gonna kill her? Because I just couldn't see how the fuck is she gonna get out of it when the gravity does their purge and the gravity comes back and she falls, like she's like almost to him and she falls. I'm like, are they gonna kill her? Like for a split second, I was like, maybe this is gonna be one of those downer alien movies and it ends really bad for everyone. The alien catches her and saves her, and I was like, wow, what a great alien. I don't know, I just love that he caught her, and I was just like, what was his intentions? I guess to save the body for the egg.
Yeah.
But I really liked where the elevator fell and like she survived because she stepped back and then he's like, I'm here too. Like he like comes around the corner. I was like, that was great. That was cool. But then he dies soon after.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to think of an alternative because honestly, the only throwback that made sense line wise was Ash's line. You know,
Yeah.
I can't lie to you about your chances, but you have my sympathy because that feels like a very
Give me
like
that one
like
and leave it.
yeah. For me, that felt like a very like ingrained like
Program.
line. Yeah, like that's like a default farewell almost.
Yeah.
You know, not farewell. You know what I mean,
Yeah.
though, right? Like just a line that he was programmed to say in this situation. Yeah, there was no reason for Annie to know that. I was trying to think of alternative ways they could have done it, and I feel that would have made it cringy if they did what I was thinking. Where honestly, if he just said "get away from her," I would have been okay with that.
I would have been fine.
But if they have to have "you bitch" in there, I'm not sure how it would make sense. Where he would say the line and then she would say "you bitch," you know. But then I think that would be a little like.
I think it's hard either way. Like I think it's just. I do think they kind of shoved too much of that into the movie. But at the same time, there's a whole audience who have not seen those movies who aren't gonna like get the cringe because it's the first time they've seen it.
And then also I'm wondering, okay, because the whole point of Andy is that he tells dad jokes. So
He tells Brian jokes because Brian was cracking up, and I just every time I heard him, I'm like, God damn it, that is such a Brian joke.
But so wait, if he's telling jokes, then is that a joke?
That he's telling jokes?
Like
the
that line, like "get away from her, you bitch."
Oh, I see. Because
at
that point, he's back to being his old
Andy,
his old autistic self.
So I'm just okay. Well, then are you just kind of like saying that line is a joke? Because in Aliens, it makes sense. You know, she's a mother. The queen is a woman because she's the queen, and you bitch, and like
I say honorable mentions because we're about done here. I think.
Oh wow, we're at 86 minutes. Holy shit!
I do want to say some honorable mentions. The aim assisting gun.
About it.
That's one callback I did like was her with her crazy face, like shooting the aliens, and then she gets the like bloodlust look in her eyes. Like Sigourney does the same look when she's like shooting the eggs and aliens. She gets this like wide-eyed, like I fucking love guns now. I thought that combined with the gravity, the zero gravity acid, I was like genius. Like I was on the edge. Like I just was like, this is so clever. This is so fun. Why have we not done this before? Like this is the first time this is a thing in all 9 movies. I just thought that was so fun.
Yeah.
That stuff like that is what uplifts the movie for me with the stuff like Ash and like what we thought about the third act. But there was some stuff where like the aim assist, like it just threw stuff out of me that I was like, okay, I kind of love that. Like
it's the first time that I think gamers will agree that aim assist is good.
Yes, I was like, that's what I would need. All these people who are like, yeah, and who brought it up? Was it Brian? Someone brought it up where it was like, and now no one can, or was it you? Now no one can say, they can't have that incel argument. It was like all of a sudden she's just a fucking sharpshooter. She just knows how to.
That wasn't me, but I agree.
Okay, no, the gun did it for her, and she still got to look badass doing it. And yeah, just I thought the zero gravity. It was very video gamey, but it was cool. I just thought that was a really fun.
That it worked great. That was a great visual scene
that
too.
Didn't have it wasn't the alien or the facehuggers going. It was more of like a natural environment type of thing they're trying to get through, which was.
And it was so nice hearing the Colonial Marine machine gun sound effect.
Yes, that was cool. That was fun. Yeah,
just all the little sound effect throwbacks.
There's
the
little beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, the whole the aperture walk passageways opening up.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. It wasn't even it was a scene where in the first Alien where the alien goes in for a hug in the tunnel.
Jazz hands. Thought it was
that sound effect was a part of something that wasn't even alien related. I think it was just like a shutter opening or something. But I was like, okay, all right, whatever.
We didn't get jazz hands in this one. If there was to be a callback, why not a big hug? Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
But that was just really funny that it was like that sound effect, that jump scare sound effect. It was like a shutter opening.
The X-ray wand.
That was fun.
fucking cool. I thought that was really cool.
I think for you had the benefit of not seeing trailers, and you know me, I don't give a shit. I'll watch trailers all day long. So it's like, okay, there's the X-ray one. We know how that's going to come into play because there's the scene where, in the trailer where she puts it in.
Do they show it?
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was in the trailer that I saw.
No, yeah, it was definitely in the second trailer because you see her, she's like in the back, and you see the.
Because when that happened, I was like, "Oh shit, y'all! Like it's going down. It's inside of her."
So it's set up.
I mean,
in
we
the
all
trailer.
know what's happening, but I just thought that was a cool, just a cool piece of tech, and to see a different view of when you see it,
the rib.
When you see it crack open, I was like. I would have been screaming way sooner than she was because she was just kind of like, "Oh, I feel kind of tired.
Fuck, I'm gonna overdose now."
Yeah, it looked like she was just overdosing. I would have been like, blah, 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 blah. Like the guy in Covenant where it comes out of his back. He was like having seizures all up and down. Like I was expecting more of like.
Fuck that! No, the resurrection dude.
Oh, he was funny.
Yeah, the guy from Seven.
Oh man,
I forget his name already.
What's inside of me? That one. What the fuck is inside of me? He made me fuck her, and I did. That one?
I showed Coy that for the first time, too.
That movie's rough, man. That scene's rough. That scene stuck with me.
Getting a wonderful 4K release.
Jesus. What else is getting 4K? Scream 4?
I wish.
I think Scream 4 is in January.
Well, I wanted to have a... Oh, wait. That's the only one that doesn't have a Steelbook release, right? That's what it desperately needs.
I want the new release without... The rumor is that they're going to do it without the filter. The crappy... Scream 4, I mean, I don't know if you know, but I mean, Scream 4 has there's a filter on it that makes it look glossy, they put Vaseline on the lens. Have you not watched Scream 4 lately? Because it doesn't look like any of the other Scream movies. It's the only one that has very blown out colors and very blown out so the rumor is, and I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but there was a rumor that the studio didn't like how old the actresses looked, and so they put this. And if just watch it, it does a
digital smoothing.
Almost it's almost like a digital smoothing. It's like they turned up they did something to try and blow out the picture so that you can't see as much of the wrinkles or stuff. There's a shot of Gail, and she's you could barely see her because you see she's almost out of focus.
That sounds like DNR editing.
Everyone said it's some kind of filter or whatever it is. They want it gone. It's not natural because the cinematographer is a cinematographer who did 1 through 3, and it has a very distinct Scream look. And I think Scream 5 and 6 get closer to that look, but Scream 4, which is one of my favorite ones, just doesn't look like any of the other ones. It has a very soft glow to everything.
Because there are 2 hated movies out on 4K now, and that's Terminator 2 and Pirates of the Caribbean.
I heard about
Curse
the
of
Terminator
the Black Pearl. Essentially, they all look like wax figures. It was so denoised, and because James Cameron is doing this stupid, idiotic thing where he wants his movies to look more modern, and modern movies don't have grain, and grain is such a natural component to shooting on film.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people who is a grain lover.
I like grain.
Yeah,
yes,
if it's shot on film, let it go because that's what it looked like, and that's whole point of. That's gonna be a whole other episode. Long story short, I have a feeling maybe that's the process they did, digital denoising or denoising something, a DNR thing. So that's interesting. I have never heard that, and admittedly, the last time I did watch Scream 4 was in theaters.
Okay, well, you need to look it up. And just look at a still from any of the other Screams and a still from Scream 4, and you will see a drastic difference. And
wow.
I hate that that's my biggest complaint about Scream 4 is it doesn't look like any of the other movies to me. And I don't know. It's always bothered me. And so the rumor has always been if they do a new transfer or they do a 4K or something that look will be taken out. Or there'll be a cut of the movie that doesn't have the thing on it.
I sure hope so, but I don't know. For me, it's just it's Scream 4, and I just don't think it's as well appreciated as other movies that feel like they should. You know, I feel that
Scream 4 is a masterpiece. Okay.
Honestly, if Scream 4 had more of a cult status, things companies like
feel
Vinegar
like it
Syndrome
kinda
would go
does,
back
though.
and just like
I almost
fucking
feel like
restore
Scream
it.
4 is the culty one of
Well,
the,
no, I'm talking like
of the franchise.
culty,
I see what you're
culty.
saying,
You know,
yeah.
like fucking Bubba Hotep, or this movie came out with the People's
Jesus.
Joker. You know, like because they'll go crazy and like remaster that shit from the old negatives and like but it's really funny. Bringing back this podcast, we had ideas to do like books or like other things, and it seems like we just naturally progressed into these topics without even really thinking about it.
Yeah.
We got talked about books. We talked
You're
about
right.
the rest.
It just went in naturally.
Yeah. But I guess what should we get into final thoughts?
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
So-
I want to go.
Oh.
First, I want to say. Okay, no. Yeah, let's do final thoughts.
Okay, so what did you think, or what are your final thoughts on Alien Romulus?
At the end of the day, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was. I was surprised. Whether I liked those surprises, it is what it is. But it's rare to be surprised, for me at least, especially in like a ninth installment of a franchise. Today, so even though there were so many callbacks, I genuinely had a fun time watching the movie because there were times where I literally didn't know what was going to happen, and I just think that's great. There were twists I was like, whoa, I was way off with that one, and to me that gives it a lot of points. Visuals and music go a long way with, I think, both of us, and it's just for the ticket, like the ticket price alone. It's worth it just for the visuals. The visuals and the third act, whether you like what happens or not, it is still exciting. Like, it's still just an experience. Like, I just thought a lot of the action sequences is worth the price. So I think I do really like this movie. I don't know if I love it yet. I think down the line, I think with anything, like, our opinions change, and I might end up really, really loving it. I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to, but it still is a really, really solid Alien movie. It's more than solid. It's definitely one of the better in the franchise. That's kind of
and that's saying a lot. Okay, well, Jod, I think that this is one of the finest Alien fan films ever made.
Okay.
The sheer practicality of the movie, it just looks so organic and real. It made me feel like this was a place that
as people
existed.
into making films, I think filmmakers will love this movie. The production, just like in the art of making movies. I think this one is really up there.
Yeah, and it filled in, it checked off all those things on my list as far as what an alien movie should be. And it not that it goes off the rails, it just kind of teeters a little to the left. But for me, I really, really loved this movie until everything that happened after the bitch line. That's where I did not like the callback of the bitch line because it made no sense, and I'm still feeling a little woozy from the reverse engineered engineer. And I'm not sure what I could equate that to, because maybe it's like that's not a alien, or that's also maybe that it's also like,
and also, if you've never seen Prometheus or Covenant, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is that? Like, you're not gonna get like the kind of connection with the black goo, why it looks like that and doesn't look like the mom.
Apparently in my theater some people were shocked because I literally heard and I think it's because maybe they thought it was an engineer, but it wasn't, but it was.
Like when you saw the baby head, I was like, is that like an actual... I was like, is that an engine? Like, are we going to get a full-on... Because they call back to Prometheus so much, which if you don't like that... Like, Ridley's talked so much shit about that movie now. And it's like, okay, yeah, people didn't like it 10 years ago, but now people are like coming around to that movie. And I just feel like if you try to distance yourself from that movie so much, but yet every time we're making a new one, we keep calling back to that movie.
Well, I guess maybe he learned his lesson. Don't hire Damon Lindelof to write an alien movie.
Oh my God, John! Have you read John Spade's script?
No.
The original script. It is so fucking good.
Better
as a straight up yes. It does. It loses the engineers, like that still is in there, but it's you did lose all of the like philosophical stuff. There's some of that in there, but like it didn't need
not as heavy-handed.
All the questions that were brought up were just like random shit David Lindelof put in it. But if you read the original script, you're like, damn, that was solid. That was a solid movie.
So I always say I'll read these scripts and I'll have them, and I just never do. So
It's
just like
a
story
really
of my
good
life.
read. Shocking, actually, but that's maybe one day we can do like script to screen episodes where we like review the script and like how did it.
I feel those will go by faster than normal books.
They probably will.
No, I mean, it was an absolutely great visual feast. I was legitimately tense on a lot of scenes, which is pretty rare for in a fucking and modern day alien movie to do. But God, yeah, no. Again, I loved it until I didn't. Okay. Which will reflect my score when we get into it. I figured we'll just do the obvious, unless like how many face huggers out of 5 do you give Alien Romulus?
I'm gonna give it a solid 3.
3. Wow.
Is that too much?
No, I mean I thought I was okay 3.
3 because maybe I understate how much visuals and music, and that again I am a huge fan of this franchise, so that immediately bumps it up. Like it's low for me because I want every Alien movie to be a 5. So to me, a 3 is a little damning. But
oh wow,
but yeah,
I was a little shocked.
I would give it because it is a very solid movie that has some really weird choices in it.
Yeah. Well, damn. In my head, up until that bitch line, it was a 4.5 out of 5. But then that immediately downgraded it to a 4 face huggers out of 5 for me.
Okay.
So
that's still good.
Yeah, no, I'm legitimately shocked at your 3 rating.
Like it too low or too high?
No, too low.
Too low.
I was expecting a 4 from you at the very least.
Yeah, maybe it's a 3.5. Also, are we gonna see these two fuck in the next movie? Andy and Rain, was that like were we getting like a romantic vibe towards the end? You don't think so? Because I was like, she thought of him as a brother, and he's like, I don't want you to think of me as a child anymore.
Well, I think that he just started saying that because he was the other robot. No, he's too attached to her dead father.
You're right.
Unless she's into that.
She said, "Do what's best for us." At the end, he got new directives at the end of the movie. So I don't know. I just was feeling some sparks there.
if Alien ever goes down that route, I don't know what the fuck to think.
They do that in the books. I was just before we end, I have to say this: when Alien 3 came out, they made a series of comics and books, or when Aliens came out, right? And then they followed Newt and Hicks, and they run into another android at some point in the story. And then when they killed off those two, they had to change the name. They end up doing like re-releases and change the names to like Newt is Billy and Hicks is like Dean or something. But Billy has like an android that kind of ends up being part of their group, and they're fucking. And they talk about like. I mean, they have sex scenes. Like, there's, like, descriptions of, like, his hardness and him growing hard and them laying down together. And so, I mean, sex was already like, woven into this franchise, the story. So, I guess... maybe because I read those books, I was like, I could see this happening.
you might be predisposed. Was that the right word?
Yeah.
You may have that on your mind, but I did not get that.
I just wanted to throw that out there real quick. But anyways, where do you rank this movie in all of what? Do you want to count AVP?
Well, I don't think it's going to matter because I'm going to put it at the end of the list.
Okay, so what is your ranking of all?
I mean, as far as AVPR movies go, I will say the first one is better than the second one.
It is.
Because I can fucking see what's happening.
I agree.
And also Harold Closer's theme for that is beautiful.
It's really good. That movie
But I do love Brian Tyler's Decimation Proclamation from AVPR.
I have to re-listen to it. That's the one that movie and soundtrack's one I've visited the least.
Mm-hmm. There's a video online of kids going on a field trip to a recording studio, and they perform that track live for the kids.
Do they really?
And it's really funny because you can just tell the kids like they prefer music that they listen to, and the only person who's geeking out about it is the teacher, the conductor. So it's like he's all into it, and the kids are like,
okay.
Okay, then, and I'm like, you mother little shit.
I would have loved it.
I would have fucking died to be in that room, man. Oh gosh, where do I guess out of Aliens, Alien 3, Resurrection, and then are we doing Prometheus? Oh
yeah,
my god. Okay, honestly, for me, Aliens number 1, Alien number 2.
Do you want me to go first?
God. I think I want to be bold and put Romulus at number 3.
Okay.
Then we're going to go Alien 3 for number 4 because I just love that look of that movie and
Matte paintings.
Yeah,
Left
and
right in that movie.
I always love when people fall into fans in movies, and that one delivered one. It's like,
Yeah.
you know,
That was fucking funny.
So then after that, I think for me, I'm trying to remember. I don't know. As far as walking away, entertained and satisfied, Resurrection for number 5.
Okay.
And I guess I want to say Covenant for 6 and Prometheus for last.
Wow.
Yeah.
I am heartbroken.
And that's just on a whim.
Wow.
Like if I have, like I'm being forced to rank these movies.
If he doesn't rank it, the trap's gonna go off.
It's like I see your saw trap in the corner over there. I mean, gun to head, that's what I have to rank them right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's fair. So mine is always going to be controversial because I love Prometheus. So for me, and I'm also, we're going by like what we revisit or just enjoy. Personally, for me, it's going to be Prometheus, Aliens. No, I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Oh, okay.
Prometheus, Aliens, Alien,
Okay.
Covenant.
Oh.
No. Sorry,
Oh.
Romulus,
okay.
Covenant, 4-3.
Okay.
And if I rank the AVP, 1/2.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Obviously, I mean, that's the thing. Like anyone will agree with that ranking.
Hey, some people love those movies, and I question everything about that person. So.
Yeah. Honestly, again, the only thing I like about those movies is going to be its music. So that's the only explanation I agree for anyone liking
I like
anything about
the
those.
Scars. That was his name, Scar, I think.
Oh, the Predator.
The Scars. No. Oh, maybe that was the Xenomorph had a name. The one with the grid.
Oh,
The
I didn't know he had a
grid.
name.
He has a name. There's a name. I remember.
Did they just give him that just because?
I feel like it's Scar or something like that. I like it when they. I mean, the alien in the original was Big Chap. The Big Chap.
Really?
Yeah, he's called Big Chap.
Big Chap?
Big Chap.
Is that just?
That's like since the 70s. He's been known as the Big
This
Chap.
is news
I think it was
for
because
me.
the doll was called the Big Chap. The doll of the alien.
Like, are you saying like, okay, we need to give this thing a name so we know what to refer to it on set? So get the big old chap here.
Maybe, but I just know that alien has been known as the Big Chap. Like Big Chap.
This is-
like the T-Rex from Jurassic Park is Rexy.
Yeah.
Like fans know him as Rexy. Fans would refer to the alien as the Big Chap.
This is just as shocking as the day I discovered that Michael Myers was referred as the Shape.
Wow.
Yeah, which was
Well, you heard it here first.
probably either through Corey or you, but I definitely discovered that he was called the Shape. Like
It's in
within
the
the
credits.
past 10 years.
He's credited as the Shape. In the first.
I don't know what to tell you. I mean, is this guy named Ghostface for real or?
This guy?
Yeah.
Ghostface is Ghostface until he takes the mask off, and then it's whoever the.
Wow.
I guess that is Mikey Madison. I don't know. Like,
Man, my whole life just got turned upside down with that knowledge.
really?
Old chap?
Big Chap.
Big chap?
Big Chap. And well, there's another one.
I'm trying to.
That's why I want that one to be Sparky because he sparks. There was a list, and they had like the names that they referred to him. But yeah, it was the Big Chap. But that brings
was
up
the Alien 3 alien Spot because it was a dog?
I don't know because it was an ox to begin with.
Oh, I guess depends. Old Bell.
Quick thing, we saw the Big Chap in Romulus before
Yes,
the end. What
because
did you feel about that?
I felt giddy.
I
'cause
did. I was like, oh, that's
I think it
him.
was the first scene, so I was really excited to see that bridge already. And I nerded out with my roommate next door. I'm like, oh my God, look, that's the harpoon.
That's him. That's the one.
But it took me a while to realize, like, oh, he's in like a resin cocoon. But again, I just love that opening for the music and the visuals.
Yeah,
So
it was
yeah,
good.
I was all for
But
it.
I just had to throw that in. But okay. I think that's
Right.
our. That's
Yeah,
our,
I mean, tentatively, what I want to cover next is The Crow. Technically, not a horror movie, but I mean, it has
I
so
mean,
many
I'm
horror
interested.
elements.
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued. I've never been a huge Crow fan. I mean, I like that first one, but it's been in such a development hell for like a decade that I'm very interested to see what finally made it, like what they pushed through finally. And I like Bill Skarsgård.
Plus, it looks like complete shit, so it'll be nice to shit.
I
on
wasn't
it.
gonna say it. I wasn't gonna say how fucking awful this movie looks.
I'm ready to tear it apart, but
I'm good with that.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
So join us whenever we cover The Crow. It comes out this weekend. It's currently Sunday, and you know me, I'll be there Thursday night. So
It'll probably be a fried. Well, we'll see. We'll see what we got.
I'm not going to feel any loss over it because I have 2 readmit passes, so I'm going to pay shit for The Crow.
Well, good, because I'm that price. But all right.
God, what's our outro? Or I'm not sure what social media we're on.
Well, by the time you hear this, we should be on at least Twitter.
Yeah.
And we'll put our Instagrams maybe in the description if you want to check out our personal Instagrams.
And you know, whoever's listening has the advantage of knowing our future because as of now we don't really have a name.
We don't.
The big controversy is apparently gay is offensive for Podbean.
So for anyone listening to this, we've had previous podcasts, and one of them was The Final Gaze, and we stopped for a while, went about our lives, and we have now decided we wanted to come back, and we missed the mic. And talking and doing all this fun stuff, but our name was The Final Gaze because it was like a play on The Final Girls. So we were just like, well, let's just pick it up again, right? But I had to go back and make all the old accounts, and so I go back to our old paid Podbean, and I try to make our profile, and it's like, please take the word gay out of there.
It's offensive.
It's offensive. Don't use offensive, abusive language. And I was like, what?
Wow.
But that's The Final Gaze ended in 20 or 21.
One of those years, yeah.
So from then until now, that's the climate that we live in. So
2 steps forward,
no gays.
10 steps back.
No more gays. So we'll by this point hopefully have a cooler, if not equally cool name.
I'm not saying we're gonna be that, but The Final Guys.
The Final Guys is
so
one of them.
stupid.
It's so dumb that it's almost really good. It's almost like you know what?
Fuck it.
We're
the Final Guys.
I
feel like those fuckers on Grindr. It's like cis.
Look for our Grindr profile. We have
We're with the final.
Whoever
cis
wants
guys.
to host our next recording session. But okay, well, until next time, we will be whichever title that we say.
So there we go.
And it's been great.
It's been fantastic. We just fell right back into this so naturally.
It was really smooth. So I hope you guys enjoyed this as well, and you'll be hearing from us very soon.
We'll see you later.
Bye.